The villa smelled of oranges and warm stone. We were tucked deep in the hills of the countryside, far from the noise of the city, where even the stars whispered in a language that made you feel small. Every summer, our extended family rented the same old villa white walls, creaky doors, heavy wooden shutters that moaned in the wind. Zane and I always shared the same room, one bed. Because there weren't others, but because it was expected. We were cousins, practically brothers. This summer felt different. I was 19. Zane was 22. He'd grown broader, leaner, like a man who'd seen things and didn't speak of them. His hair was longer than I remembered, always damp from swimming in the pool or fresh from a cold shower. He had the kind of presence that drew laughter out of a room just by entering it. Even our uncles sat straighter when he spoke. Asterisk, he'd spent the whole day with the others splashing, wrestling in the water, drinking juice straight from the bottle. I mostly stayed by the window, half reading a book I couldn't focus on. I wasn't like him. I never had been. Asterisk at dinner, he threw his arm around my shoulders, pulling me close and mussing my hair in front of everyone. My cheeks flushed hot, but I laughed anyway. He always did that, touched like it didn't mean anything. But to me, every glance, every accidental brush, made the silence in my chest louder. Asterisk that night, the house slowly dimmed. One by one, rooms quieted. The fan in our room clicked in rhythm, spinning overhead like a tired moth. The heat clung to our skin. Zane came in late, damp towel slung around his neck, shirtless, chest glistening faintly in the moonlight that spilled through the open shutters. He smelled of soap and something citrusy, asterisk. He flopped down on the bed beside me with a sigh and stretched like a cat. "They're all asleep," he muttered, glancing over at me. "You still up?" I nodded. He turned on his side, propping his head on his arm. "You always this quiet? You used to talk more when we were kids?" Asterisk, I talk when I have something to say, asterisk. He smirked. "Still the smart one, huh?" Asterisk, I looked away. His voice always carried warmth, like he knew you better than you knew yourself. Maybe that's why I never told him about Rami. It felt fragile, too far away to protect, too close to ruin. Asterisk, we laid in silence for a while. The room breathed with us. Outside, the trees rustled softly. I felt his arm shift behind me as he adjusted the pillow. I kept my eyes on the ceiling, trying not to count the seconds between our breaths. Asterisk, then I turned away from him facing the wall and closed my eyes, or pretended to. Asterisk, the mattress dipped slightly behind me as he moved closer. I could feel it. In my spine, the distance narrowing. A beat passed, then two. I thought maybe he was just getting comfortable, that he'd drift off soon. Asterisk, but I wasn't prepared for the way his fingers brushed the blanket where it covered my hip. So light, I could have imagined it. I stayed still, frozen. The air between us seemed to hum. Asterisk, he shifted again. This time, so close, I felt his breath on the back of my neck. I felt the heat of him, skin to skin, though no contact had been made. Not yet, asterisk. Maybe it was sleep, but he didn't realize how close he was. Maybe I was reading too much into it. Asterisk, but then he sighed. And in that sigh, I heard something I'd never heard from him before. I wanted to turn, to face him, to ask what he thought he was doing, but I didn't, because deep inside, beneath shame, beneath loyalty, beneath the voice that whispered, "This is wrong," was another voice, quieter, shaking but firm. Asterisk, don't move. Don't stop it. Asterisk, I lay there, heart pounding so loud it hurt. He didn't speak. Neither did I. He didn't know I was awake. And yet, maybe he did. The room was still, but my heartbeat wasn't. It crashed like waves behind my ribs, each second, louder than the last. I heard Zane breathe behind me, slow, steady, controlled. He hadn't moved away. Asterisk, instead, he shifted even closer. His thigh brushed against mine, bare skin to skin beneath the thin cotton sheet. The contact was light, but it didn't feel accidental. I kept my eyes shut. There was no sound but the soft whirl of the ceiling fan and the night pressing through the shutters. The house was asleep, the world outside, silent. Only in our room. Did time seem to bend and hold its breath? Asterisk, then it happened his hand. Slowly, carefully, as if testing the silence. I felt his fingers brush the blanket again, this time not toward the edge, but over the curve of my hip, pausing like he was, waiting for me to flinch, to move. To say something, I didn't. My body betrayed me. I stayed frozen. But inside I screamed. The weight of his touch spread like heat through my back, curling around my stomach in knots. His fingers moved again, now lighter, tracing down the side of my thigh. The gesture was gentle, nothing crude, almost reverent. Asterisk, but it wasn't innocent. Asterisk, I wanted to speak. To sit up and say, "What are you doing?" To remind him that we were family, that I had a boyfriend. That this wasn't just confusing, it was wrong. Asterisk, but I said nothing. I couldn't tell you why. Maybe it was the way I'd always looked at him when he wasn't watching. Maybe it was the loneliness that lived behind my chest, the kind that made every little touch feel louder than silence. Or maybe it was because deep down, part of me had been waiting for him to cross a line he never should have. Asterisk, and now that he had, I didn't know how to stop him, or myself. Asterisk, his breath tickled my neck now. I could feel his presence, his want wrapped around me like the night air. His lips hovered close, not touching. Then the barest graze, asterisk, not a kiss, not quite, asterisk. Just a whisper of warmth, like he was. Tasting the silence between us, I shut my eyes tighter. I told myself not to react, but my back arched ever so slightly. It's barely enough to be felt, but he felt it. I know he did. His hand rose to the side of my waist, tentative, trembling. Didn't speak. That made it worse. The quiet turned every breath into a question. Was this curiosity? Lust? Power? Asterisk, or was it something more dangerous, something twisted by years of closeness, and a boundary we both silently danced around? Asterisk, he didn't touch me beyond that. He didn't speak. But his presence, his nearness, was everything. His fingers grazed my back one final time, then slowly retreated. The air grew cooler where his hand had been. Asterisk, a long moment passed. Then he rolled onto his own side of the bed. No word, no sound, just the creak of the mattress as he turned away. Asterisk, I opened my eyes. The ceiling stared back, spinning slowly under the fan's rhythm. And that's when I felt it, the tear, slipping sideways into my pillow. Single silent protest. Asterisk, I hated myself for not stopping him. Hated him for starting. Asterisk, but hate didn't burn as hot as shame or confusion. Asterisk, and buried somewhere underneath all of it was something worse. The faintest trace of want. Asterisk, I thought of Ramia's voice in my ear a week ago, sweet and trusting. Tell your cousin I said hi? He'd laughed. Maybe next summer I'll come with you. I closed my eyes again. Zane whispered something so low I almost missed it. Asterisk, you never really sleep first, do you? I didn't respond, because... what would I say? Asterisk, that I felt everything? Asterisk, that part of me still ached where he had touched me? Asterisk, that I didn't know if it was a violation or a confession. Asterisk, I lay there with the guilt filling every breath, every heartbeat. I wondered what he saw in me when he touched me like that. If he thought I was someone else. If he thought I was nobody. Asterisk, and yet in his silence, in his quiet movement away, I realized something worse. He knew I was awake, and he did it anyway. Asterisk. The morning arrived too bright, too fast. Asterisk sunlight spilled across the room like nothing had happened. The fan still spun lazily overhead, casting moving shadows along the walls. I hadn't slept. Not really. I'd kept my eyes shut for hours, counting the cracks in the silence, hoping sleep would come and erase the night. But it hadn't. Instead, it brought morning. And with it, Zane. Asterisk, he stretched beside me with a satisfied sigh, the kind you make after a deep, peaceful sleep. Bed shifted. I felt him sit up, rub his face, and pad barefoot toward the bathroom. He didn't say a word. Neither did I. Asterisk, I waited until I heard the door click shut before I sat up, pressing the heel of my hand to my eyes. They burned. Not just from exhaustion, but from the weight of what we both weren't saying. My shirt stuck slightly to my back with sweat. I felt like I was still lying in that moment. Even though the sun had already climbed halfway into the sky, I walked to the mirror. My reflection looked like a stranger, hollow-eyed, pale lips pressed into a thin line. I didn't look touched. I didn't look betrayed. I didn't look like someone who had let it happen, but I was all those things. Asterisk downstairs, voices drifted in. Auntie calling out for breakfast. Laughter from the garden. The world, it seemed, was exactly as it had been, only I wasn't. I changed into a clean shirt, splashed cold water on my face, and headed down with leaden feet. The kitchen was warm with smells of eggs and bread. My uncle flipped through the newspaper. My little cousins shouted over a board game on the floor. Asterisk and Zane. Asterisk, he sat at the table, sleeves rolled up, buttering toast with one hand while scrolling his phone with the other. His hair was still wet. His skin still glowed with that effortless light he always seemed to carry. He looked up when I entered. Sleep. Okay? He asked, voice casual, like he hadn't shattered something hours ago. I nodded. That was all. Asterisk, he smiled. Handed me a cup of tea he'd poured, as if to prove nothing had changed. But something had. I saw it in the way he didn't meet my eyes for more than a second. In the way his voice was a little too light. In the way he laughed too easily when one of the cousins knocked over juice. Asterisk, he was pretending, but he was good at it. So I pretended too. We played our roles, me, the quiet cousin, the golden one. And the night stayed folded between us. Like a secret letter, we'd both agreed not to read aloud. Asterisk later, he caught me alone in our room. I was folding laundry. He stepped in, hesitated, then leaned on the doorframe. Asterisk, you should come outside, he said softly. We're playing football. Everyone's asking for you. Asterisk, I didn't look at him, I kept folding. Asterisk, maybe later. Asterisk, he nodded, shifted his weight. Silence stretched between us. Asterisk, then he added, almost too quietly, I didn't mean for it. To be weird. Weird. That was the word he chose. Asterisk, I almost laughed, but nothing about me felt light enough for it. I didn't ask him what he did mean for it to be. I didn't say the words pressing against my throat. You touched me like I wasn't your family. Like I wasn't someone you were supposed to protect. Asterisk instead. I said nothing, and he left. Asterisk, the door closed behind him. That's when my phone buzzed. A message from Rami. A voice note. I sat on the bed and listened. Asterisk, hey love. His voice came through, cheerful. I had the weirdest dream about you. Woke up smiling like an idiot. I miss you. Hope you're okay. Can't wait to hear your voice later. I stared at the phone, hollow. The person I wanted to be a Nust, brave, loving, should have replied with the truth. Should have told Rami everything. Should have told him I'd failed him, that something happened while he trusted me. I didn't say no. Asterisk, I typed, can we talk later? Or something I have to tell you? Then I deleted it. Instead, I sent, miss you too. Call me soon. Asterisk, I looked out the window. Zane was outside laughing, chasing the ball barefoot across the grass with the others. He looked like he always did, free, untouchable, golden, asterisk. But I knew something now. He could touch and walk away like it never happened. And I would carry it. Always. Asterisk.